What's up, YouTube? With the advancement of all kinds of technologies and AI and all that kind of stuff, I'm kind of asking myself this question, and maybe you are too. When is enough enough? How far are we willing to go to allow our autonomy to be kind of controlled or given so much convenience into our life that we almost turn into the whole WALL-E situation? I don't know if you've seen that Pixar movie WALL-E, where there's this little trash robot and he just goes around and picks up trash on Earth, and everyone else kind of blasts off into the atmosphere, and they're basically just floating around space, and everyone's just fat and huge and just eating stuff from a straw and have screens in front of them all the time, and they don't even have any bone structure. Their muscle mass is completely gone, and they're just basically floating around on these like hover chairs all around the spaceship. And this little this little machine, this little robot somehow makes it onto that ship and kind of reorients those folks and brings them back to Earth again eventually, with just the hope of this one little piece of green plant that they would retake over the Earth and have oxygen and new life again. It was kind of a symbolism of how far you're willing to go to let everything be so convenient for you till you're just absolutely useless and you're more of a consumer than you are a producer. And so how far are we willing to go? We're kind of seeing that onset right now in our lives. I know if you work any kind of corporate job, you're seeing kind of the push for artificial intelligence. You're seeing kind of that push for new data centers and things like that that's going to go and take over in different large spaces and acres of land. And it's going to take large, even more amounts of energy, kilowatts, just to hold that stuff at an acceptable I guess operating range, because the data is processing so much and it's holding from so much, and then those data centers are holding history of those other of the AI's processing. And so it's just on and on and on going. So when is enough enough? And we're such a consumeristic society that I'm not sure that we know how to get back to just being able to produce things for ourselves and take care of ourselves. You kind of seen the onset of it with just vehicles in general. Now, this is just an observation. This isn't, gospel or anything, but I noticed somebody in my family, they purchased a vehicle that had a 5-speed manual transmission. And now, I'm not the greatest mechanic in the world, and I don't know everything there is to know about vehicles, but I do know how to drive a straight drive. I do know how to drive a 5-speed transmission. Most folks don't have that anymore, and cars usually don't even come with that anymore. It was an older vehicle. And so the young man he purchased it with the intention of learning a 5-speed and never did, and now he's just selling it. It's nothing wrong with that. It's just an observation. It's a more convenient vehicle to get in and have automatic transmission to shift when it needs to shift, upshift, downshift, and all that when it comes to terrain and whatever you're driving through. So the question is, are we going to continue to do that with everything? Are we going to continue to do that with artificial intelligence so much that there's no human touch to anything that we do at all? Insofar as making decisions, insofar as pushing buttons, and so far as having communications between other companies, is it just going to be completely all automated? I mean, think about it like this: your Amazon Prime account. You probably don't even know how much you're spending on it. Maybe you do. But as you purchase more and more things, if something gets delayed and it's not here in 2 days, like your Amazon Prime account promises it to be, you become upset. You become distraught. If you don't have a screen in front of your face every 5 minutes, then you're anxious. You're not sure what to do with your hands. You're not sure what to do with your body. I'll tell you this, my phone, for whatever reason, my iPhone battery kind of like shorted out a couple of weeks ago. And I didn't have my battery, I didn't have my phone. It just wouldn't charge. So I took it to Verizon, and after a long 6-hour process of taking it to a repair center and finding out the battery cannot be fixed or replaced, they're just going to have to send me a new phone, and that's what I'm recording on right now. I had to wait a couple days and I didn't have a phone, so therefore I wasn't on Instagram scrolling reels, I wasn't on Facebook scrolling, I wasn't on YouTube looking at the shorts or looking at other videos. I actually read a book. I actually walked outside and saw the sunshine. I actually enjoyed the moment I was in and realized just how much of my life is being taken from me just because of the convenience of entertainment, continual processing of things, the artificial intelligence of watching a movie and then Googling who the actors are, and then it's instantly right there at my fingertips, and it kind of takes away from the movie. During conversations that you have with folks, if you can't remember a certain thing, you automatically just look it up, and it kind of takes away that novelty. And I know this is all rambling on, but I think what we're doing is we're continuing to lose that human touch, that human interaction. And the reason I feel like our lives feel like they're so sped up is because so much of our lives is spent idle, and it's taken away from us. And you've only got so much time on this earth to live before the good Lord calls your name. So, 70 years, maybe? How old are you? 80 years if you're strong, the Bible says. And so how do you want to live that life? Do you want it to be all convenient? Do you want it to be all taken over? Now, I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful for air conditioning, indoor plumbing, dentistry, all that stuff. And don't get me wrong. But there comes a fine line between advancement and then just lack of ambition. And I think that could be kind of the epidemic that we're seeing with a lot of young men, is that they just don't feel useful anymore. And it's no wonder. They're made to be obsolete because they're being replaced with automation, innovation, artificial intelligence. So just something to think about. I was basically rambling. Tell me some of your thoughts, some of the stuff you're going through. I told you this YouTube channel from now on is just going to be whatever's popping in my head, whatever I think about doing at the time. So if you're here for that, I appreciate it. If not, that's okay. Thanks for stopping by. But as always, I want you to stay strong.